I have the pleasure of being here with Nort Thornton, who has coached for almost 60 years, who is probably one of the world-renowned best coaches we've ever had the pleasure of being able to experience, coaching many top athletes. I think, Nort, you've coached about 60 Olympians or so?
Right in that area, yeah.
And you've won several NCAA titles. Many people have won medals. And beyond that, I know that you have, I know my husband likes to call you the encyclopedia of swimming. You have so much knowledge and experience from all of these years. When I was at Cal, you used to do a lot of visualization and goal-setting tapes with your athletes.
Yeah.
And I know you have a ton of books in your office.
Yeah. It's just, it used to be that I think the mind, I still do, and even believe it more now, that the mind controls everything else that what we do with our body and performance. But in those days, it was hard to find material for mental training for athletics, particularly swimming. So I'd have to go to business-related type courses. So I got a lot of things from, things like Success Magazine and just different things that were produced for sales people rather than athletes. But a lot of it applied and carried over. So I just tried to convert as much of it as I could to practical application for swimming. There's getting to be more and more of that type of material out there because people are starting to realize that that's really important. I'm actually reading I think a pretty interesting book right now. I can't even think of the name of it, but the guy wrote a book about. He went around the world and he went to places where people were being successful, like the tennis club in Moscow was producing all those female women tennis players. He went to South Korea for golf, and he went to Brazil for soccer, and he went to places where they're producing musicians or they were producing mathematicians. And what he was finding out was that it's not hereditary. It's not just genetic. You don't get those gifts through the genetics. It's how you focus on what you do. He talks about how these people, like in the tennis clubs in Russia, these kids would come in and watch the very best people hit the ball, and they weren't just watching; they were learning and copying. So he says it happens oftentimes in families where there's more than one child. The youngest one tends to be the best athlete because they get the value of seeing what their older brothers and sisters do. And so that's he breaks it all down. It's I don't think what the name of the book is, but Talent Code, I think is the name of it.
Oh yes.
It's there's some really good material out like that. And there's a lady that's a doctor down at Stanford, the psychology department, Carol Dweck, who wrote a book. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's
the white cover.
Yeah, it's Success, Psychology of Success, or New Psychology of Success. And basically what she came up with, in fact, is you don't ever want to praise people for having talent, because then if they come into a big situation of pressure, big meet or a pressure competition, they're afraid to try it, because if they fail, then they'll have lost that talent. So if you praise them for being a hard worker, and even if they win or lose, it doesn't matter, because they just keep working.
They build the confidence in themselves. They know they can do it.
So that's basically the type of thing that I think is really important. And I'm, psychologically, that's what we try to do. We still do a lot of visualizations. I don't think if you can't see yourself doing something, I don't think it's going to happen. So we try to get people to see themselves doing things before they do.
There's been a lot of studies that show that your body doesn't know the difference between I am able or I am not able, and it takes it in physically, physiologically, the kinesiology.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think that if a person just can it's almost like you fake it until you make it. You just tell yourself this is the way it is until eventually it becomes that way, because if you start, even at first you may not believe it, but if you can eventually stay with it, you'll get positive results out of it. So.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Nort. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.